Last week we worked on finding the area of figures. This week we're going to take those figures and we're going to combine them together to figure out area of composite figures. So, once again, composite figure is a figure made up of two or more dimensional figures. So if we look at this gray figure here, we can see that it is basically just a rectangle with a triangle on top. So, just a quick reminder, area is the number of square units inside a figure. It's labeled with units squared or square units. Make sure that you are labeling when you're doing this. So for example A, we want to find the area of this figure. So step one is we have to divide the shape into regular figures. We want it into two shapes that we already know how to find the area of. In this case, I split it across the middle and I have a square on top and a rectangle on the bottom. So I have two parallelograms or two quadrilaterals. So step two would then be find the area of each figure. So area of A, which I'm going to use as the square, is base times height. So all I do is plug in my numbers just like we were working on last week. So I would plug in 3 and 3, which would give me 9 inches squared or 9 square inches. The area of B, once again, the formula is base times height. And the base is 9, the height is 2, so we would do 9 times 2 gives us 18 inches squared or 18 square inches. Then step 3, to get the area of the total figure, we would add them together. So 9 plus 18 gives us 27 inches squared or 27 square inches for the area of this figure. Example B. Similar but a little different. We're finding the area of this figure. But as you notice, there is an area on here that is overlapping. So we have to take that into consideration when we're working with this figure. But let's go through the steps. Step one is to find the area of the top square, because if you look, both of these are two quadrilaterals that are overlapping. So we find the area of the top square. Once again, formula is base times height, which would be 12 times 12, which gives us 144 inches squared. Step two, we find the area of the bottom rectangle. Once again, formula is base times height, so we do 15 times 12, which gives us 180 inches squared. Step 3 is we add those two together. That would give us a total of both areas, including the overlapping. So when we do that, we give 144 plus 180, which gives us 324 inches squared. Now we have to worry about that overlapping area. So now we need to look at just that specific area and find that area. Once again, it is a square quadrilateral, so we do base times height. Well, for this one, it doesn't tell us specifically what the dimensions are, so we kind of have to do a little bit of math. So if we look at this right here, it's 15 centimeters. If I know this much of it is 8, I can take those two and I can subtract them. So 15 minus 8 gives me 7. So that is where I find the length of 7 for my base. Then I do the same thing to find this side. So I know this is 12, this is 6, 12 minus 6 gives me 6, so that tells me that this area right here is 6, which is where I got this. Now I can take and plug them into my formula. 6 times 7 gives me 42 inches squared, so the area of just this overlapping area is 42 inches squared. Then I take my total area and I subtract my overlapping area, and I get 282 inches squared or 282 square inches for my area of this shape. So let's practice. I'm going to go to ConnectEd up here on the screen and we're going to work through some problems together.